segment. Let's make this segment. We'll talk about the Nets loss. Oh man. Oh god. Okay. Spurs sucked again. We lose. Going on to the next one. I don't know what to tell you. Look, like I said this over and over again. The expectations that people have for the San Antonio Spurs were way too high. I mean, we went over this on the channel plenty of times before. There was no reason to have your expectations this high. I know that you're getting a generational talent, but I mean, how many times in NBA history has a young kid, generational or not, went to a team and they get, you know, even more wins or a bunch of wins? It doesn't happen. They're usually still a pretty bad team. And that's the whole point, right? You're going to a bad team. We got lucky with Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan also was much older than Wemby is right now. But he went to a veteran team. It was already established. They already had the leader in Avery Johnson, or just Avery. Sorry. I'm upset. I'm not happy with this. Yeah, Avery Johnson. Anyways, he was the leader. He was like the vocal leader, and then David Robinson, you know, was the best player. But yeah, I don't know. I think the expectations just way too high. You couldn't expect, or you shouldn't have expected Wemby to come and just like fix all of our problems. Also, people keep equating it to last season. That's not a good idea either. Last season we had veterans. All right, that does make a huge difference. All right, you're still trash, but you're below mediocre. I don't know. Right now we're bad, but you know, we were below mediocre with our vets. It's the same thing. You see the same thing with the Houston Rockets, right? The fans thought that, hey, we got these vets, we're gonna be winners, and I was saying, and a lot of other people were saying, you guys are really excited to be like mediocre to below mediocre. And now it's starting to show, right? It takes a lot to create a winning team. And you're not going to be able to do it by just adding vets to a team. Now, I don't want to harp on the Rockets, but the Rockets had to do it, okay? Because they have no draft capital in this upcoming season. So it's kind of like, what's the point? We might as well. But in our perspective, we do have a very bright future. We do have picks, draft capital. We will get better. We can make moves. We have the cap space. It'll be fine. It's not like the Spurs are just going to sit back and not do anything. All right. I know a lot of people think that that's not true. So just as irrational as people were about how many wins we will have, just as irrational about the Spurs not doing anything. They're going to do stuff. All right. And I know a lot of us are pretty upset with the trade deadline and how nothing really happened, but at the same time, nobody really made any trades, right? You know, you can get mad about why didn't the Spurs go after this player, but at this point, we're just arguing and upset about us not trading for a player that wasn't tradable. Like I don't know what to. I don't know. But at the end of the day, look, there's a lot of things to take away from this game, and there's a lot of things to take away from just our Spurs in general. And I said this early in the stream, but I'll say it again. It's very obvious that the big issue that the Spurs are coming across right now is the fact that they just don't have the experience and or talent. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's either you're not having the experience this game, you don't have the talent this game. That's it. And oftentimes it's both. Oftentimes it's a mixture of both. Even if we match up pretty well with a team, it's possibly not the experience that we have. Hold on, I'm turning this off. There we go. Yeah, it's one or the other. It's one or the other. And it's going to continue to be this. I know we can, you know, sit back and speculate like, what if this, what if that? At the end of the day, this is our team. It'll be all right, though. The road trip is killing Wemby low-key. Oh, it's destroying Wemby. Wemby has not been the same since he got off minutes restriction, but yeah, it's gotten worse. That's why I was so quick to get upset when people would say that they're not passing Wemby the ball on purpose. They're like, well, he's not attempting. You got to play through Wemby, obviously. Like all these just immediate reaction, knee-jerk takes when it comes to the Spurs. Give it to Wemby in the fourth quarter. And it's like, wait, couldn't there be something else? Maybe it's not the fact that they're just ignoring him, or they have some malice towards Wemby. Maybe, just maybe, Wemby is winded, and his teammates know that, and he communicated that, and the coaching staff knows that. So you go in a different direction. I don't know what to tell you. And also, in a lot of those situations, Wemby did get past the ball, but he would turn the ball over, or he would just pass it up, or it was always something. He was too tired. I think Wemby and his allergies has made it harder on his conditioning. That is hurt too. Yes, he's not used to it. Yeah, it's a lot of different things. All I'm saying is, and I'm not blaming Wemby. It's not like I'm angry at anybody. It's just I get upset when people start to say, "Hey, they're not giving him the ball. What the F is wrong with you? He's 7'6". He's a giant. Just give him the ball and get out the way. It's like, dude, we've tried that. At one point in the season, they were doing a lot of that. Didn't equate to wins. Just equate to ugly basketball. I mean, we all praised the 2014 San Antonio Spurs, but it's like people refuse to want to go back to that time. The 2014 Spurs, there wasn't some, like, well, obviously we had our stars, right? But it wasn't like a give it to Kawhi, get out the way. It didn't do that. Our finals MVP, it didn't do that. Everybody played together. Matter of fact, hold on, I want to go back to this game. Hold on, let me before I go to the 2014 stuff. Wemby was okay. 7 for 16, not too great. It's one of those where you had to watch it. Okay, he had 4 turnovers, but it felt like 15. Sohan, he looked gassed too, by the way. Oh, he had 8 points. Ignore that. It all came at the end, basically. Same thing with Julian. He had 2 points. Well, he hit a shot. It came at the end. It was the last shot of the game. Trey Jones, yeah, he was non-existent, which is kind of sad because the Brooklyn Nets were really bad at defending point guards. So, yeah, over the last 2 weeks, I don't know why. And Ben Simmons wasn't really on Trey Jones like that. Devin Vassell, 7 for 20. I like the fact that he was aggressive. I will say that, okay? He didn't settle too often. So I was happy about that. Just kind of an off shooting night. Not too mad with him. Zach Collins was awful. I don't know. He hasn't played in the league that long. So I won't sit here and just throw that veteran label on him like that. But man, oh man, dude, you gotta stop complaining. Stop getting in your own head so fast. He gets upset so quickly. So Pop only played him 7 minutes, which is probably rightfully so, man. Memo for, you see, Don Barlow, he did fine. He showed a lot of hustle, played hard. You can see that with his 9 rebounds in 12 minutes. He played tough, all right? He always does. Give this man a contract. He deserves it. He needs a standard contract immediately. Osman, he was Osman. Keldon Johnson had a really strong first half in which he went 5 for 5, but on par the rest of the game, yeah. But hey, at the end of the day, it looks fine. But in the game, in the midst of the game, it kind of fell apart. Branham, he wasn't great. Blake Wesley, he was phenomenal as always. Okay, his defense is so good. I don't know what to say about that other than it's incredible. His defense is incredible. It's like as soon as it's a loose ball, I know he's getting to it. So, anyways, yep, tis what it is. And please get rid of Devontae Graham. All right, maybe we can get Killian Hayes. All right, I just want to bring up the Spurs. The Spurs 2014 finals stats. Let's see what we got here. I'm actually curious at how many attempts Kawhi had in that series. Let's see. Yeah, 49. Can we get it in? Yeah, no, I think that's fine. Yeah, look at this. He was third. You had Tony Parker with the most field goal attempts. You had Tim Duncan second and Kawhi third. And then Manu Ginobili basically tied with him. And then you had Patty and Boris basically tied with Patty, Boris, and Danny Green basically tied with each other. And then it goes down from there. So yeah, so this is what the Spurs looked like, okay? And this was our best player when it was all said and done. I mean, Tim Duncan was our leader, but this was our best player when it was all said and done. And he took 49, while I guess he was tied with Tim Duncan, while Tony Parker took 73. Also, hold on. And I know that people might not like this. You might not like this argument, okay? This is just for the people that say give Wemby the ball in the last like 5 games, or like he's not touching the ball. They never give Wemby the ball. Let me show you something. Let me show you something, all right? If you go to stats, let's see. As far as field goal attempts, oh my God, is it not showing field goal? Oh yeah. All right, about 16, right? All right, field goal attempts. All right, 16. And if we go to the greatest San Antonio Spur of all time, gosh, why is it like this? I should have went to Basketball Reference, I swear. Let's see, his prime, let's say 2002, 3. The most that he has, Tim Duncan has attempted in his career was 18. So yeah, he's on par. And I know that seems, I know it's a little different because, you know, the game was slower back then, yada, yada, yada. But also if you go back and you look at even players of this season and how much they are averaging, how many field goal attempts they're averaging, it's right there with Wemby. It's right there with Wemby. It's not that far off. If you got chat, just throw out a superstar. Just throw out one. Just throw out a couple. We can look. I guarantee you it's not that far off. I feel like Steph one was be way far off though. I'm not sure though. Anybody you want to throw out? Please watch Pistons games before you say sign Killian. Oh, Killian's okay. I'll talk about that in a minute. Kawhi was a fun guy. That's actually pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. There's players that don't get the ball, not because they're ignoring him, but because they miss reads, and normally it's Keldon and Julian missing the reads. Luka. Did you guys like take time to like look up some players? Okay, whatever. He looks so disappointed in this photo on here. I feel like Luka takes a lot of shots though. Let's see. Still works. So you can see this year, yeah, Luka takes a lot of freaking shots, but he's Luka Doncic. But if you go back to his rookie year, he was right at 16. He was right at 16. Then it bumped to 20. Then he was at 20. So 4 more attempts, 5 more attempts, 6 more attempts, and then 7 more attempts. Still works. Watching you guys argue, I have no idea what's going on. All right, yeah, that's all I had to say. Was I think that a lot of people just underestimate the direction the Spurs are going in, and then they overestimate what they expected this season. It will be okay. We're fine, but it is hard to watch. I'll be lying if I said it wasn't. Wemby needs some rest. Yeah, he looks absolutely exhausted. He looks gassed. It's ugly. It's ugly. And even with that, from the outside looking in, if people weren't paying attention, you know, if they don't actually watch Spurs games, you think that he's still playing okay, right? Like, people, you would assume that, like, oh, this game 7 for 16, 21 points. You had to actually watch it. Oh, he had a block. He had 3. Okay. He had, you know, he should have had more rebounds, but it's getting kind of tough for him. Whatever. But yeah. That's all I have to say.